Now, I know that some of you probably read the title of this video and thought that this is nonsense. After all, if you want to see what happens after the 1986 Transformers movie, you could just watch Season 3 of the original cartoon. That's hardly a secret. And you'd be right. Well, to an extent. You see, the Transformers comic book published by Marvel in the UK actually told their own unique story set after the movie. And in this video, we'll be taking a look at one of the most celebrated of these stories. Now, before we get started, there are some gaps that need to be filled. The peace that the Autobots won at the end of the movie is gone. With Galvatron missing, Shockwave has seized command of the Decepticons and renewed the offensive against the Autobots. Now, the Autobots and Decepticons are locked in a stalemate, with neither faction able to gain the upper hand. In a failed attempt to take command of the Decepticons from Shockwave, Cyclonus and Scourge interfered with an assassination attempt on Rodimus Prime by the bounty hunter, the freelance peacekeeping agent Death's Head. In return, Rodimus Prime has placed a bounty on Cyclonus and Scourge, and our story opens with Death's Head pursuing these bounties over the planet of Junk. Scourge crash lands onto Junkion while Cyclonus abandons him. Tired of running, Scourge tries to shoot Death's Head as soon as he exits his ship. However, the ship was on autopilot, and Death's Head wasn't even in the ship at all. Scourge quickly falls to his knees and begs for his life, providing Cyclonus with enough time to swoop in and fire at Death's Head. A battle ensues, ending with Death's Head easily besting Cyclonus and Scourge. Before he's about to execute them, a panicked Junkion appears and tells Death's Head that the rest of the planet has been enslaved by a powerful being, and that he needs his help. After convincing Death's Head that he'll be well paid, he agrees. They also spare Scourge and Cyclonus on the basis that they might be useful. Back on Cybertron, Rodimus Prime bids farewell to Wreck-Gar and thanks him for all his help. Accompanying Wreck-Gar to Junkion will be Inferno and Smokescreen, but none of them are aware of the events transpiring there. Meanwhile, on Junkion, Death's Head, Cyclonus, Scourge, and the Junkion go over their plan. The Junkion will pretend to be enslaved while secretly planting explosives near the target. Cyclonus and Scourge will provide a distraction, and Death's Head will fire at the explosives when ready. Cyclonus only agrees to the plan because Death's Head told him that he'll stop pursuing the bounty on him afterwards. But in reality, Death's Head has no intention of holding to this. After all, it would be bad for business. The plan begins, but it's quickly revealed that the Junkion was enslaved the entire time. The rest of them quickly become mentally enthralled as well, and while Death's Head attempts to fight, his will is simply no match for the might of Unicron. At Decepticon HQ on Cybertron, Death's Head demands an audience with Shockwave. He's brought him the allegedly dead bodies of Cyclonus and Scourge, and because they interfered in the assassination attempt on Rodimus Prime, he should be compensated by their commander. Shockwave agrees, but first, he has Soundwave check if Cyclonus and Scourge are truly dead by reading their minds. Soundwave informs his commander that they are very much alive, and a battle immediately breaks out. As soon as Decepticon reinforcements arrive, Shockwave leaves, but Death's Head pursues him. On Junkion, Wreck-Gar, Inferno, and Smokescreen have arrived to no fanfare, which leaves Wreck-Gar anxious. He is, after all, the leader of this world. They follow a massive crowd of Junkions in the distance, and as they approach, they are horrified to see the head of Unicron giving orders to destroy Shockwave to Death's Head. Death's Head follows Shockwave into a shooting range occupied with dummy Autobots, but Shockwave gets the drop on him. Meanwhile, Menasor and Soundwave attempt to break into the throne room to get Cyclonus and Scourge. Shockwave taunts Death's Head for hiding, but he's then immediately ambushed and shot to utter pieces. Death's Head is sickened by what Unicron is forcing him to do, and when he crushes Shockwave's brain module to ensure that he's truly dead, he vows to avenge them both. Back in the throne room, the Stunticons and Soundwave have Cyclonus and Scourge at gunpoint, but Death's Head arrives and informs them that there has been a regime change. Shockwave is dead, and Cyclonus and Scourge will be taking his place. The other Decepticons reluctantly agree to this. Unicron is pleased. With his minions installed as leaders of the Decepticons, they will instigate a suicidal offensive against the Autobots, decimating both factions and allowing Unicron to wipe out what remained with ease. On Cybertron, Cop and Rodimus Prime discuss the rare peace they're currently experiencing. Just then, this peace is broken by the Decepticons launching their all-out attack. Immediately, Rodimus Prime mobilizes the Autobot forces to respond, but he finds the attack baffling. After all, Shockwave knows that such an attack would only result in their mutual demise, and so he realizes that someone else must be in charge. Unicron watches the battle through the eyes of Cyclonus and Scourge, and he is pleased. Inferno, Smokescreen, and Wreck-Gar, having heard enough of Unicron's plan, decide to go back to Cybertron and inform Rodimus Prime. After all, if he used the Matrix to defeat Unicron once, then surely he can do so again. While an enslaved Junkion attempts to stop them, Wreck-Gar regrettably kills him. However, this alerts Unicron to their presence, and he dispatches Death's Head to stop them. Although Death's Head attempts to resist, he ultimately obeys. Right as the Autobots reach their ship, Death's Head blasts Inferno in the back. Wreck-Gar tells Smokescreen to take Inferno and get out of here. Just when Death's Head is poised to execute Wreck-Gar after a brief battle, the Autobot ship flies away. Death's Head again attempts to resist Unicron, causing Unicron to torture him, but it gives Wreck-Gar just enough time to get away. After escaping Junkion, the Autobot ship has entered Cybertronian airspace, only to be attacked by Cyclonus and Scourge. With Inferno in the repair bay and Smokescreen piloting the ship, there's nobody to restore power to the engines, meaning that they're at the mercy of the two Decepticons, who prepare for another attack. As they fire, though, power is restored to the ship's engines, allowing Smokescreen to pull up and avoid a barrage of missiles. Even though he's still gravely injured, Inferno refused to stay in the repair bay because he knew that, if he stayed there, both of them are going to die and the information would never reach Rodimus Prime. While they manage to evade Cyclonus and Scourge, the ship is heavily damaged and has no way of landing. Inferno tells Smokescreen that he'll crash the ship, sacrificing himself in the process, and while Smokescreen tries to protest, Inferno throws him out the window to his safety. Then Inferno crashes the ship into the battlefield, taking out a bunch of Decepticons in the process, as Smokescreen vows to avenge his friend. Cyclonus and Scourge see the ship crash land and conclude that the two Autobots must have been destroyed, much to Unicron's satisfaction. The captive Death's Head laughs at Unicron's fear of the Matrix, but Unicron is more amused by this than anything. He appreciates the rare challenge from Death's Head, but as soon as the challenge stops being entertaining, he will be destroyed. Death's Head notes to himself that, as Unicron rambles, his control over him wanes, something that he seeks to exploit. He gets Unicron to keep talking, and with this distraction, he prepares to strike. On Cybertron, Smokescreen informs Rodimus Prime and the rest of Autobot High Command of the Unicron situation on Junkion. While that explains what's been happening lately, Rodimus is reluctant to leave Cybertron, since if he does, the Decepticons could potentially overwhelm the Autobots. Grimlock, however, says that with the Matrix and the Dinobots, they'll have everything they'll need to stop Unicron. Cop and Ultra Magnus can handle the situation here. Reluctantly, Rodimus agrees and he has a shuttle prepared. Meanwhile, Death's Head kills some Junkions, angering Unicron. However, their mental connection goes both ways, and so Death's Head uses it to enter Unicron's mind on the astral plane, where hopefully they'll be on more even terms. Underneath Unicron, Wreck-Gar is planting enough explosives to destroy him for good. He wonders how he's been able to do this for so long. Something else must be in Unicron's mind. That something else is Death's Head, his sanity slipping away due to Unicron's mind being utterly incomprehensible. Unicron taunts him and is ready to destroy him, but as a last-ditch effort, Death's Head inquires about Unicron's origins to get him to keep talking. After all, with a mind like this, he is clearly no regular being. Unicron decides that Death's Head's defiance has at least earned him the privilege to learn that. Aboard the Autobot shuttle en route to Junkion, Rodimus laments how they know so little about Unicron, and he wonders if he's left the Autobots on Cybertron to their doom by abandoning them, not unlike how Smokescreen abandoned Wreck-Gar on Junkion. While Rodimus understands the decision, he can't get over the thought of willingly leaving a friend behind, a sentiment Smokescreen shares as well. In Unicron's mind, he begins his tale. At the dawn of the universe, when life was in its infancy, there was Unicron, chaos and fury incarnate. And there was Primus, the lord of the light gods, the only one able to stand against Unicron. Their battle shook the universe, destroying the very worlds and star systems that Primus had hoped to protect. Defeated by Unicron in the physical realm, Primus moved into the astral plane for a psychic assault, but he fared little better there. Near death, he fled back into his physical form, and Unicron followed blindly for the kill, only to fall straight into his trap. When they entered the material world, Primus didn't lead them back into their energy forms. Instead, they materialized inside of two asteroids, with the path back to their energy forms sealed behind them. Trapped in this form for millennia, Unicron struggled, but his hatred of Primus gave him strength. Eventually, he was able to restructure his prison into the form of a monster planet, and from there into the form of a giant robot, becoming the first Transformer. Meanwhile, Primus had similarly restructured his asteroid, not into the form of a robot, but into a habitable metal world called Cybertron, populated with beings who could mimic Unicron's transforming ability, the Transformers. Although Unicron and Primus were billions of light years apart, they both still felt as one being, knowing the other's thoughts, motives, and plans. Because Primus knew that Unicron intended to consume the entire universe, he formulated a contingency. He instilled his essence into the Matrix, giving it the power to create life and destroy Unicron. The Matrix was passed from leader to leader, and Unicron knew not to attack Cybertron until the Matrix had been captured by his minions. While Galvatron's betrayal allowed Rodimus Prime to open the Matrix, destroying his body, a spark of him remained. Suddenly, Death's Head's mind is forced back into his body as Unicron's monologue is interrupted by the arrival of the Autobots. Unicron commands the Junkions and Death's Heads to attack, but Death's Head refuses to be his slave any longer and opens fire on him instead. Unicron angrily blasts him with his I-beams, and in the process causes the cave Wreck-Gar to collapse, just as the timer from the explosives has begun ticking down. The Autobots continue evading Unicron's I-beams, though Scattershot reprimands Smokescreen's reckless flying, and while Smokescreen promises not to do it again, he has no intention of stopping. After all, if Inferno and Wreck-Gar, who Smokescreen thinks is dead, sacrifice themselves to stop Unicron, then he can do no less. Besides, the Autobot shuttle just needs to distract Unicron from Rodimus Prime while he attacks from the ground. Wreck-Gar is trapped underneath the rubble as he watches the timer go down. There are only 5 minutes left, and while it looks to be the end for Wreck-Gar, he can at least take satisfaction in taking Unicron with him. Infuriated by the Autobot shuttle, Unicron orders Cyclonus and Scourge to leave Cybertron and come to Junkion immediately. Their departure from the battle on Cybertron is witnessed by Soundwave, who orders the Decepticons to retreat. Kup celebrates how they were able to win without Rodimus Prime, but Ultra Magnus suspects that their victory had everything to do with their leader. Back on Junkion, Rodimus Prime chastises himself for his mistakes, such as bringing the Dinobots along, which led to them attacking the very Junkions they're here to save. Death's Head sneaks up on Rodimus, but he has no intention of fighting. Instead, Death's Head tells Rodimus that he knows how to destroy Unicron. Moments later, Death's Head presents the Matrix and Rodimus Prime to Unicron, offering to trade them in exchange for his freedom. Unicron instead begins mind-controlling Death's Head, but this gives Rodimus a chance to enter the astral plane and open the Matrix inside of Unicron's mind, which can hopefully destroy him once and for all. Underneath Unicron, meanwhile, Death's Head finds Wreck-Gar under the rubble with all of the explosives, and he thinks about how the explosives could get rid of Rodimus and Unicron in one fell swoop. In the astral plane, Rodimus struggles against Unicron, instead of the Matrix destroying him here as he anticipated. It instead makes Unicron more powerful, and he intends to harness its power to become an engine of destruction across the cosmos. Before Unicron can succeed, Death's Head pulls Rodimus out of the astral plane, not out of a change of heart, but because Rodimus is still a client. As if on cue, Cyclonus and Scourge appear, and Death's Head charges after them to collect his bounty. Wreck-Gar's explosives begin to detonate, and Unicron is destroyed while the Autobots, including Wreck-Gar, make their way to safety. In the aftermath, Cyclonus, Death's Head, and Scourge are nowhere to be seen, but Unicron is destroyed. Rodimus Prime realizes that his essence has been contained within the Matrix. And that's the story of The Legacy of Unicron, written by Simon Furman with art by Jeff Sr., Dan Reed, and Brian Hitch. It's widely considered to be one of the most beloved and influential stories from the entire Marvel UK run, largely because it gave us our first look at what would become the definitive origin of the Transformers. While the cartoon had offered its own origin for the Transformers in the Season 3 5-part premiere Five Faces of Darkness, the UK team never considered adapting that for the comic. Instead, Furman sought to tell a more cosmic origin for the Transformers, something evocative of Stan Lee's early work on Marvel Cosmic. This desire came in no small part to rationalize Unicron. See, in the movie, Unicron has no connection to the Transformers. The idea then came to make him, essentially, a satanic figure, and introduce his opposite in Primus, the god of the Transformers, the yin to that yang. In telling the story, Furman took a variety of then unrelated concepts, Unicron, the Matrix, Cybertron, and weaved an epic cosmic narrative around them that would become one of the most enduring aspects of the Transformers mythos. Though, the legacy of Unicron isn't as fondly remembered as it is just because of the Primus backstory. Its shocking twists and turns, well-paced narrative, amazing artwork, and exciting battles are why, to many, it's a worthy sequel to the Transformers, the movie.